If you want more time, money, freedom, and have a business that's not reliant on you, then you're in the right place. Each week, Mark Creedon, along with some of the very best business minds in the world, will take you through simple, practical steps you can take to create the business you always wanted. From his own practical experience, Mark will show you how to work less, make more, and get the business you always wanted, the one that you deserve. Now here's your host, one of Australia's most sought-after business coaches, Mark Creedon.
Oh, welcome to the latest edition of the Mastermind for Business podcast. Hey, if you are in a professional business or a service business and you're having trouble in slight muck up, and you're having trouble in working out how to get your message right. You know, sometimes you're putting a message out and it's just not cutting through. I've got a 5-step process that's going to help you to build a message, whether it's an external message out through social media, whether it's a message for your team, a message for prospective clients. You're in the right place because that is exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. Let's go. As always, joining me in this studio, I've got Nick here. Welcome, Nick.
Hey, guys. Oh, thank you.
Like magic, he just appears. Yeah. Hey, Nick, I think, you know, you often see lots of, and we're talking about message here, message building, right? So whether it's a message you're putting out in general advertising, whether it's in assets that you're putting out, like I mean, not people really use brochures anymore, but website content, I think, is a great example. Any printed material you want to put out, social media stuff, but also what you teach your staff and the conversations that you have with prospective clients. I think we've got to make sure that, you know, people talking about being on message. I think we have to understand what that is. And so I've got this little 5-step process that we teach our mastermind clients about how to build a certain message, and that's what I want to work through today. I think that the first thing that you need to think about when you're looking at what your message is coming out of your business is, what's the reaction that you want people to have when they see your brand, right? What's the reaction? Because every piece of information that you put out is going to be feeding into that reaction. You know, when people see McDonald's, you know, I mean, I don't know about you, but sometimes I've seen McDonald's or KFC or something that's made me hungry. You know, I wasn't hungry till I saw the golden arches.
100%.
Right? Yeah, especially if you're coming home after a late night. Suddenly you see the golden arches and you just,
oh, it's the worst.
Man, I could do with a burger. Right, so what's the reaction that you want people to have? Is it around trust, you know, belief, curiosity, whatever it might be? But I think you've got to document and really fine-tune what is the reaction you want people to have when they see your brand. And I think an easy way of doing that, if we're talking about this 5-step process, perhaps before we get to reaction, maybe the first step is to list all the features and benefits.
Yep. Yeah.
List all the features. Because I think people sometimes forget, if you haven't got this documented, and I've certainly done this, Nick, when I haven't had things documented and I've had a sales conversation with someone and then I've got off the call and gone, oh, I forgot to tell them about that. Yeah.
And a lot of the times it's probably one of the main focuses of your message. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So number 1, make a really clear list of all your features and benefits of the product or service that you're offering. Number 2, think about the reaction. What's the reaction you want people to have when they see your brand, or when they hear about you, or when they read your material or hear from you or hop on your website?
Yep. It's what we talk about in videos is, you know, what kind of emotion. Think about the emotions that you're trying to evoke before you even hit record.
Yeah.
You know, we shouldn't be recording videos unless we know what we actually want our audience to feel, how we want them to think, what we want them to do.
Yeah, it's interesting because one of the things that you say in video is something that really frustrates me about, say, website content. I hate going to a website and it's all about them.
Yeah.
And don't you? I mean, you say that in video, right? You know, shoot a video for them, not for you.
Yeah, audience-directed content, not self-directed.
Perfect. I knew you'd put it much smarter than me. Audience-directed content, not self-directed content. So this is, I think, about, you know, thinking about what's the reaction you want them to have, and you've got to start thinking about how you're going to make it about them, not about you. So number 1, features and benefits. Number 2, what's the reaction I want you to have. Tying into that quite nicely then, in number 3 is, what's the personality of your business? One of the things that we talk about in Mastermind all the time is that, sure, Mastermind is a coaching program for service businesses to get business owners to the point where the business is a lot less reliant on them. But we refuse to do that if we're not going to have some fun in the process, right?
100%.
Because life's too short not to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
So we have to have some fun. So the personality of our business is, it's serious. We're going to get shit done, but we're going to have some fun in the process.
You 100%, and it's the same thing as I was saying before with content. Is you've got to find that right balance, right?
Yep.
Where you can show that you're capable,
Yep.
and that you're going to do what you've promised, but also that you are human.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, people buy people, not products. And I mean, that's going to be an interesting thing as artificial intelligence continues to grow. I mean, am I buying from a person, or am I buying from from an avatar
somewhere?
Yeah, who knows? But for the moment, we know people buy people, not products, and so you have to understand what the personality of your business. So number 1, features and benefits. Number 2, the reaction. Number 3, get really clear on the personality and make sure that the personality comes out in the content that you create, the message that you deliver. So, I've often seen, I know we've had, marketing people give us advice in the past, and they've produced this content for us that just isn't us. It's all kind of corporate and stiff, and, they want to put stock images of people in three-piece suits, and it's just not who we are.
Yeah, and I think one of the main things that we always try and get clients to focus on is, when you're looking at making audience-directed content, or you're looking at making stuff that's for your audience, that they're going to appreciate, that they're actually going to enjoy, we've got to make sure that we are, spending the time to get to know our audience.
Yeah.
Right? If we don't understand our business and what we want, how we want to show our business,
Yep.
but also we need to understand our audience and how they're going to perceive it, and how they're going to react to what we're showing them.
Yeah. So, and I think the big thing about that is more your personality can come through, the more likely you connect with your audience
100%.
as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Step number 4 is and we spoke about this concept, Nick, in an earlier episode where we spoke about dealing with objections, and we said, well, one of the ways you deal with objections is to make it clear. In that case, the particular objection was it costs too much, or it's too expensive, was to make it clear what the outcome is of doing business with you. In other words, what is the transformation that comes as a result? I think you've got to get crystal clear in your message what that transformation is. Nobody goes to Bunnings. You want to hang a picture on your wall at home, right? You don't go to Bunnings. Whilst you might go to Bunnings to buy a 10 mil drill bit, it's actually not the 10 mil drill bit you're buying. It's the ability to drill the hole in the wall, to put the hook, to hang the painting. So what you are buying when you buy the 10 mil drill bit is the transformation that it's going to bring to your house.
Yep, the painting on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're buying. And so in all of your products and services, you need to think about what is the transformation. And by the way, if you get that right, objections around cost, time, inconvenience, etc., will dissipate. And let me give you a real world example. We're getting some renovations done at home, as you know, and so we don't have a kitchen at the moment, and we're going to be without a kitchen for 8 weeks or something. I'll be honest, it's an absolute pain in the ass.
I can imagine.
Right?
I can imagine.
Absolute pain in the ass. But the point is, the guy that's doing all this building work for us, he's painted this great picture, right? He's sat there with Caroline going, you'll be able to have a dinner party and it'll all be seamless and it'll all be lovely, and you'll be able to walk in and the lights will come on automatically and all of this sort of stuff. So what we've bought is certainly not the pile of stuff we've got at home, the mess that we've got at home. What we've bought is the outcome, the transformation that his work is going to bring to our home environment.
Yeah, he's bringing a vision to reality. Right?
Yeah.
So he's painted the picture for you.
He absolutely has. And it's the transformation at the end of the day that we've actually purchased.
That's what you're buying.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got to understand what is the transformation that your product or service is going to bring to your clients. And Nick, I think the 5th part, when we did the episode on objections, we said that one of the ways that you can remove an objection is to create some guarantee, reverse the risk, right?
Yep.
Create a guarantee. And we also spoke about transformation and cost of inaction. But I think the 5th thing that you need to build into your message is the inevitability of working with you. In other words, if I work with you, what is absolutely inevitable,
Yep.
right? Because that's kind of that's two things. It's what you can guarantee, but it's also what is your unique selling proposition, right? So what we say in Mastermind, if you work with us, yeah, we can talk about transformation around freedom, and we can talk about the personality, and we're going to have some fun, and we can talk about, that's the reaction we want people to have, is a sense of relief. What is absolutely inevitable is you will end up with a business that is nowhere near as reliant on you as it is right now. So we will give you back time and freedom to do the things you always wanted to do. That is a guaranteed inevitability of being part of the Mastermind program. And so if you can work out what is a guaranteed inevitability of doing business with you, then
It's an asset, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, if we talk about with you with video, the inevitability of working with you, because you're not just a videographer, you actually you direct the content. But the inevitability of working with you is they will engage with their audience at a higher level.
Yeah.
That is inevitable. And so I think if you're looking at building content, as I said before, whether it's social media content, printed material, whether it's website stuff, or the other thing, whether it's training your team, then following that really 5-step process. Document down. Number one, document what are the features and benefits. Number two, what's the immediate reaction that you want people to have? Whether it's inquiry, I'm not sure about this, inquisitiveness. So what are the features and benefits? What's the reaction you want them to have? The third thing is, what's the personality of your business? Again, because people are going to buy people. So what's the personality? I don't want to work with someone that's kind of stiff and boring. Now, having said that, right, if I had to go and have heart surgery, I don't really want a practical joker.
No, you probably want someone who's stiff and boring. Right?
Yeah, probably want someone who's stiff and boring. I don't want someone who's a high risk taker doing my tax for me, right? Because I don't want to bear the consequences of that.
So it's case by case.
Is case by case. But the thing is, I would go around looking for that personality.
Right.
Yeah. So number 3 is personality. Number 4, what's the transformation that it's going to bring, right? And then number 5, what is a guaranteed inevitability of actually doing business with you? And if you can get that guaranteed inevitability right, you line up those 5 points, now your message is really going to cut through. That's where you get back to that audience-directed content.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that you say that, the same points or the same message can be used within your team as well. This isn't necessarily stuff that we're putting out there to an audience.
No.
This can be, and I think the important thing that I take from that is that it needs to be, I don't like this word, but the theme needs to be the same across the board.
Yeah, it does.
Right? It needs to stay consistent.
Consistency. Yeah.
Because otherwise, this person has this picture of you, this person has this idea of you.
Yep.
And they don't corroborate. So
probably a good topic for another episode of the podcast. But I mean, consistency and congruency are two of my favorite words when it comes to what we put it out there in the marketplace. So and the other thing too is when you're teaching, you can use this in terms of the message, because with your team, you want them to understand the features and benefits. You really want them to have a certain reaction. I've just finished putting together some changes to the Metropole careers page, for example, because I felt that the careers page didn't actually represent the personality. It didn't have the right reaction. It didn't talk about transformation or inevitability. And I actually followed this 5-step process, right? I spoke about the features and benefits, but then I really got on to how did I want them to react when they logged onto the page? What was the personality I wanted them to get out of the business? What was the transformation that comes as a result of them getting onto that page and potentially working with us? And what is absolutely inevitable about coming and being a part of the team? Following that process made the redesign of that page so simple.
yeah, and it's something that we do all the time is using the great method of think, feel, do.
Yeah.
So what do you want your audience, or it could be your team, whoever, the viewer, let's call them the viewer.
Yep.
Okay. What do you want them to, or what are they thinking? What are they feeling? And what are they doing before they see what you want them to see?
Yep.
And then after they've seen what you want them to see, then what are they thinking? Then what are they feeling? Now what do you want them to do?
Yeah, nice. I like it. Nice, simple process. Hey, short, sharp, and sweet this week, but I really wanted to get across that 5-step process. If you're going to build a message, that's the 5-step process you need to build, whether it's an internal or an external message. Getting this right will build the business in a way so that if it's attracting new people, as I spoke about in a careers page, if it's training the people, or a way of getting, building your funnel and getting more people in the business, get this right in a system. And what will then happen is you can get other people to do it because there's a step-by-step process for doing it, which means the business is a whole lot less reliant on you. And that's exactly what we help our clients to achieve in our Mastermind for Business program, business. Can I get it right, Nick? Our Mastermind Business Accelerator program.
There you go. You got there in the end.
I got there in the end.
It's a bit of a tongue twister.
It is a bit of a tongue twister. That's what we do in our Mastermind Business Accelerator program. If you'd like to know more, metropolemastermind.com.au. Looking forward to chatting to you in the next episode of the Mastermind for Business podcast. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, guys.